Hey yo, what is going on, viewers of the tube? If you don't know by now, which you should, but I'm your host Tyler, and welcome to the channel that brings you the content that shocks you better than old folks at the Antique Roadshow.
A watch like this at auction is worth about $400,000. You okay? Let me don't fall.
Don't you kick over and die at home because of what we are bringing today. You know the drill. It's time for Chico Crypto. So it happened. Bitcoin has done the unthinkable, which I only put at a 15% chance before this coronavirus outbreak. We are above 9K. Pulling out the 7-day price chart, I'm definitely satisfied with how bullish the chart looks. Over the past 2 days since the 25th, each resistance level has been broke, and BTC just keeps pushing up. Although the stop came at the upper limit I predicted yesterday, 9.2K. Now I'm not going to do a ton more analysis of the price because I already talked about it, and I stick to my predictions for longer than 24 hours. Yesterday I said the 8.7K to 9.2K range is extremely violent, and we should see some intense price action up and down in this range for the next 5 days. 1 day has gone by, so 4 more days in this violent range. That is my TA, Tyler Analysis opinion. But those altcoins and that Chico research, they are pulling off some big moves lately. I'm sure most of you are like, home skillet, Chico, tell us about Unibright, Chainlink, and the Enterprise Ethereum mainnet. Last week on Thursday, I put out this video, Altcoin Moonshot Found, Ethereum's Key to Enterprise. In the video, I followed a trail of breadcrumbs involving John Wolpert, EA's imminent task force, Chainlink, and Unibright. I predicted that Unibright and Chainlink was going to be involved with the EA mainnet initiative, working on that imminent task force, which the details of that task force were protected behind a password wall. Well, Monday came, and I was 100% correct. 2 days ago, the EA dropped this blog post. EA Mainnet Working Group forms Task Force Imminent, Ethereum Mainnet Integration for Enterprises. Imminent will be focused on the standards and specifications used to integrate the Ethereum mainnet with ERP, CRM, and other corporate systems of record. The Imminent Task Force is being organized with significant contribution and commitment from EA member organizations, Chainlink, Unibright, AnyBlock Analytics, and others. Below, the task force is set up to work for 18 to 24 months. Initially, the task schedule will focus on defining work packages, then expand into building best practice solutions within proof of concept implementations, and finally provide open source available documentation and specification basis, like ERC standards, for further development by the public Ethereum community and EA members. Well, 2 days ago, when the news dropped, I tweeted that people do not understand the gravity of this partnership. Well, just after that tweet, I think people started to realize because UBT took off like a rocket, pulling out the 1-month Unibright chart. It's reminiscent of 2017 hype, a straight up parabolic line. Now, I'm not gonna talk about the price, where it will go, up or down, but just looking at the stats, still under a $10 million market cap, aka micro cap, and the volume since when I first made my prediction video has moved into the healthy range. As we can see in the video just last Thursday, UBT volume was a scary under 23K, and market cap was just $3 million. And now looking at it, as of yesterday, over $9 million market cap and over 500K in volume. So since that video, a 3x in market cap and volume has increased by an over 25x. Good shit, huh? But remember, there was another coin involved with the initiative. Chainlink, my stanky old friend. How do you do? Well, the news didn't pump old Lanky, pulling out its 1-month chart. Nada, zilch, zero movement. Now, let me try and explain why. Chainlink has a lot of hype priced in, rightfully so. It's one of the only coins that surpassed its 2017 all-time high, having a 2019 bull run when there wasn't a full-on bull market. And another big reason is the exchanges it is on: whale manipulation, wash trading, bots, Bitforex, Law Token, Binance, BBX, BKX, and finally we get one legit one, Coinbase Pro. Yes, this is great for liquidity and the long term, being on a multitude of exchanges, but pushing through algorithmic resistance with many trading bots on those exchanges, much harder than Unibright, which was only on a few. But like I tweeted, I'm going to reiterate that most people do not understand the gravity of this task force for both Chainlink and Unibright and the EA as a whole. So that blog post, it highlighted with high importance that the task force focus is to build open source available reference implementations and guidelines for mainnet integration with enterprise systems of record, their ERP systems or enterprise resource planning software. Now I have some background with this as I did SAP implementations for an old job of mine. Here is a list of the top ERP systems, and it includes Oracle's JD Edwards Enterprise One, SAP Business by Design, Sage X3, SysPro, Microsoft Dynamics, and more. So any Fortune 500 to mid-sized business operation uses ERP software. It is critical to business flows, payments, supply chains, inventory, and more. It's basically the backbone of a company. This task force is created to open the doors of blockchain, tokens, Ethereum, DeFi, and so much more, not only to the long list of EA members, but to literally hundreds of thousands of operations. Literally any business who uses ERP software will now have the blockchain and the power of Ethereum in the hands of all. The hands of all? How? Well, yesterday on Twitter, I dropped a little crummy crumb on some of the new findings I have been uncovering. I tweeted about Unibright working with Digital Asset and integrating their DAML programming language with a nice Microsoft Paint Tyler home creation. So if you don't follow me on Twitter, I highly recommend it, not only for the breadcrumbs, but the troll entertainment. Links for follow is in the description. But now let's deep dive into Digital Asset, DAML, Unibright, and Chainlink. So first, who is Digital Asset? Well, they are the powerhouse you probably haven't heard of, but you should have. They were founded all the way back in 2014, and they bought the little-known blockchain project Hyperledger the next year, which they donated to the Linux Foundation and collaborated with industry leaders, including IBM, Intel, Microsoft, and more to create Hyperledger's suite of distributed ledgers, including Hyperledger Fabric, Besu, Sawtooth, and more, and the tools created for these ledgers. So as we know, John Wolpert is one of the co-founders of the Hyperledger Fabric DLT. So this guy has been working and collaborating with Digital Asset for some time. John Wolpert is leading the mainnet initiative, and the specific task force Chainlink and Unibright is on, imminent. So let's make the connections of Unibright and Chainlink to Digital Asset and DAML. Well, Unibright actually has a partnership with Digital Asset, with Digital Asset even releasing a blog post themselves of the Unibright and DAML integration. This is what Digital Asset had to say about it. Unibright's visual interface to create DAML smart contracts will help businesses get to market even faster, combined with out-the-box integrations to existing systems that both DAML and Unibright's business integration framework are compatible with multiple blockchain platforms. This is an extremely compelling offering to customers. And if you go to Digital Asset's solution page, you can see case studies using DAML. Okay, big names including Accenture, but below is their partners. Again, Accenture, but also Deloitte, Google Cloud, and that microcap Unibright. More confirmation? Well, going to the DAML marketplace, all the tools built by Digital Asset and their partners, scrolling through, there is Unibright's modular and integration framework. Now remember how I mentioned this task force is focused on ERP integrations? Well, DAML Marketplace and Unibright put out this blog post, Low-Code Smart Contracts for Enterprise with Unibright and DAML, just last month in December. In it, Stefan says, the Unibright framework allows for business processes to be modeled as smart contracts and integrations with enterprise systems such as ERP, example, SAP. And below, an illustrative use case on inventory management, one of the key areas of ERP. And below, they use the example of SAP again. Finally, the target initial use cases, supply chain and tokenization. In supply chain, they explain why and how. But at the end, the Unibright templates and our ERP expertise, especially SAP, can be joined together to achieve these transformation goals. Crammy, ain't it? But don't worry, Links, I'm not forgetting about you. What about Chainlink and Digital Asset? Well, back in April of this year, Digital Asset and the ISDA announced they were working together for smart contract use in derivatives. The blog post says specifically they will work together to develop an open source reference code library that will help support the adoption of the ISDA Common Domain Model, CDM. The CDM is a standardization tool that provides derivatives markets participants with a single common digital representation of derivatives trade events and actions across the trade life cycle. ISDA, who in the freak are them? Well, Chainlink dropped a deep dive blog post in October last year titled Solving Deep-Seated Trust Problems in Derivatives Using Chainlink-Enabled Smart Contracts. They reference the ISDA many times. While the OTC market is technically not regulated, most major OTC participants are members of the International Swaps and Derivatives Association, ISDA, a trade organization that created a standard contract called the ISDA Master Agreement. Lower. Many market participants understand the need for these digital standards, which is why in June 2018, ISDA released its first digital iteration of the Common Domain Model, CDM, for digitizing derivatives contracts. Additionally, several legal startups and consortiums, such as OpenLaw and the Accord Project, are creating standard templates for digitally representing derivative contracts. Both startups have integrated Chainlink to receive trusted off-chain data for derivative contracts. Lower. There are several high-profile entities such as ISDA, Google, and Digital Asset aiming to create standard operational workflows to connect all the relevant parties in a transaction, counterparties, exchanges, data, auditors, regulators, and more. Lower. And here is the connection. Google is a recent example of an enterprise using Chainlink to monetize its new datasets that give insights into different blockchains. This data can now be sourced by a smart derivative contract by calling their BigQuery API using a Chainlink oracle, currently live on the testnet. And a picture of Crumbs, how we built a derivative exchange for BigQuery. And customer engineer was Matt Tate of Google Cloud, who previously built ICE's market data offerings. What do you think, viewers of the tube? Hopefully you didn't just fall over. Cheers, I'll see you next time.